Hey everyone, it's Southern Belle Canto. I have another book review for you today. Unfortunately, I didn't love this book. This is The Heiress Gets the Duke by Harper St. George. This is book one in the Gilded Age Heiresses series. And it was sort of a flop for me. I felt really bad because I had pretty good expectations for this book. I was excited to read another book set in the Gilded Age. I've really been enjoying the HBO Max show, The Gilded Age. So I was excited to read this, and I had just finished the first book from the Joanna Shoup series, which also was in the Gilded Age. So I had semi-high expectations of enjoyment for the book, but I didn't necessarily have high expectations for the book. It wasn't like I expected this to be a 5, but I also didn't expect it not to be a 5 on my Goodreads scale. But overall, I found that the plot was really lackluster, and I just couldn't get into the story. Nothing in the story grasped my attention. We had our heroine, which was American heiress August Crenshaw, and for a good portion of the book, I wasn't sure if August was the lead or if it was Camille or Violet. It was just, it didn't give enough attention to her, and it didn't really make me as a reader feel invested in any of the characters. And our hero was Evan Sterling, the Duke of Rothschild. And again, I never felt a strong connection to him. I didn't feel any romance between the characters. I mean, even in the story, there was at least two sex scenes, and both of which were just sort of, they were explicit with like words and stuff, but it wasn't passionate, wasn't steamy. I wasn't interested in reading it, frankly, because I wasn't really interested in the characters. One nice thing about this book was it was under 300 pages, so I didn't have to go through it too long. Now, I know a lot of people have loved the second book in the series, and this is book one, but I'm not really sure if I'm fully invested in the series to read more into it. I mean, I'm assuming it'll be like a typical romance series where it follows the sister or the friend, so I'm guessing it's either going to be Camille or Violet is the female lead, but I just didn't really care for the writing that much. It was descriptive to the point where it just set up this, like, what it looked like in this story, sort of like that. It was very descriptive, but it wasn't doing anything for plot or for character development, in my opinion. And that's where I just really lost it for the book. Yeah, I feel a little disenchanted by it, but nothing to say was bad about the book. I just didn't really enjoy it. I found it boring. This is probably going to be a fairly short review. It was a short book, and nothing really stood out to me from it. I mean, our heiress is a reluctant heiress. She's not really accepted into the American society because she's basically new money. It doesn't go into detail really about that, but from history and other books I've read about the Gilded Age and the show, I sort of, took that into consideration as I was reading it. And the Duke basically needs the money that one of these Crenshaw daughters would bring. So he's originally betrothed to her younger sister, and frankly, I couldn't tell you if her younger sister was Camille or if her younger sister was Violet. It was really hard to tell, and like I said, I couldn't even tell that August was our heroine. I really thought it was Camille the whole time because Camille got enough spotlight in the beginning where I was more invested in her storyline, frankly, than August. But so she doesn't want her little sister to go into a loveless marriage. But when the Duke sees August, he's like bewitched and basically kind of falls in love with her at first sight. And she does things to sort of make him see that she's not the right girl for him, and her little sister is not the right girl for him either. But everything she does sort of makes him fall more in love with her, which is kind of peculiar. I don't know. But on my Goodreads scale, I gave it a 3, but it's really a 2.5 rounded up. I didn't hate the book, I just didn't enjoy it. So I want to make that clear. So it's a 3 because I didn't, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. This is just, it was just, I wasn't invested in story. I wasn't invested in characters. And the plot, I guess it was a romance, but I didn't feel any passion. I didn't feel angst. I didn't feel, oh, they're finally together. It was just sort of like, okay, I'm on page 294. I'm finished. They've, what happens happened, sort of thing. So sad to hear about that. But yeah, this was The Heiress Gets a Duke by Harper St. George. Didn't love this one, but maybe you will. If you've read this, let me know. If you've read book 2 or 3, I think there's a 3rd book as well. Let me know if it does get better. Like I said, not fully sure if I'm invested in reading more, but I might later on. I might let this cool off and digest and read the second one in the fall, because I do know a lot of people really like the second one, and a lot of people didn't particularly love this one. It's a fairly new release. It was published in January of 21, so it's just over a year old, and I think there's 2 or 3 books in the series. So yes, this is my sort of quick review of The Heiress Gets a Duke by Harper St. George. Hopefully you've stuck around for this. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Southern Belle Canto. And I'm also on Goodreads. You can look up Southern Belle Canto, I think, and it'll bring me up. I hope y'all have a wonderful day and happy reading. Bye, everyone.